All right, what's up, everybody? Rob Scott of the J Talking Podcast back with another game day episode. I'm gonna do this one a little bit differently. It's been a bit of a fucky day. Hold on. It's been a bit of a fucky day in Blue Jay land. Normally I read a bunch of stats and probably make it too long-winded. I just want to talk this. I just want to talk this podcast. And get some shit off my chest, get some things off my mind. First of all, look, this is frustrating for everybody when your favorite team plays like this. It's frustrating right across the board. It's more frustrating when you have high expectations. And what I see from Twitter is that a lot of people had really high expectations for this team. And not only from Twitter, I heard twice on Primetime Sports, I think, and another Sportsnet or something, another national sports show. John Heyman or John Morosi was one of them, who said they saw this Blue Jays team as a World Series contender. Not a playoff contender, a World Series contender. And I thought, what the fuck? This guy, who I have no problem with, is an MLB insider. He's as connected, I'm sure, as anybody. And sees the game and knows the game and listens to the game and gets all the information about the game. And how you could come up with that analysis that this Blue Jays team is a World Series contender, that blows my mind. Look, this is how I analyze it, and I understand. I'm just a fucking guy who sits in my basement and fucking does this podcast. I don't have any special knowledge. I've just been in love with baseball for 35 years, I guess, since I started watching it in the early 80s with the Expos. And the Blue Jays, of course, have always been a favorite. I watched them through every season, every long, shitty losing season, and every beautiful playoff run. And was there for the late 80s to, 93. And remembering the series when I was working at the bingo hall, and I had to know, because I watched most of the game and then I had to go to work, did the Blue Jays lose that game to the Detroit Tigers and their season was over? That I was there too. I'm a hardcore Blue Jays fan. So, I don't exactly know what the fuck my point was, but I guess I'm trying to lay out a base of a reference point for you so I can transition to this. I want to make the difference between complainers, people who jump off bandwagons, who had really high expectations, and then your team starts 1-5 and they just want to blow everything up. Fuck those people, okay? I don't have that in me. And that was the point I guess I was making. I've sat through every losing season, and I've sat through every winning season, and I never gave up on this team. Because I love baseball. I love the Blue Jays. I don't... A winning season, a losing season, I'm going to watch the season. So... I don't... Yeah, so I want to separate the complainers from the people who actually thought about the team in the preseason, before spring training, and made their own calculation. And it wasn't dependent on early season variances. And that's what I did. And I looked at this team and I said, okay, the offense is degraded. It's not degraded a whole lot, but it's degraded from 2016 version. And certainly far away from 2015 version. I mean, the numbers just bear that out. It's a small sample size so far this year, but let's just, okay, we can all understand that this offense is not as good as 2016 and certainly not as good as 2015. And again, remember, I'm on record here on this podcast saying what I thought exactly of this team before the season began. So this sucks to sit through this 2-10 season start. Know your season is over already, but I was so on board for ditching this season. I was so on board for it. I wanted to say, all right, Donaldson, let's keep Donaldson. Let's keep maybe Kevin Pillar, because if his bat's a little bit light, that's fine. His defense is elite, and you still need elite defenders, and that's why I got shit on hardcore on Twitter for saying that I wanted to trade Devin Travis and keep Ryan Goins at second base. Now, he needs to be better than a 200 hitter for that to happen, but he's only 1 year removed from the 2015 season, which we all loved and thought, oh, yes, we can live with that. If he hits 250 like that, his defense is so exceptional, we can live with it. Devin Travis is an injury risk. Move him. He's a piece that we can spend to upgrade somewhere else. When you have Justin Smoke standing on first base, that's your regular first baseman. That is not a good sign. You have a right fielder who I was against as well, Jose Bautista. I didn't understand the point of that fucking signing. Why did you want to sign? Look, I love Jose Bautista. I've said this a million times. This is not about personally Jose Bautista. This is about the ball club. From a business sense, from a player sense, I didn't understand the point of signing Jose Bautista this year. But I know a lot of people wanted to because they were of the impression that this team is another World Series contender. I didn't think that, so you can see how the value means even less to me having Jose Bautista come in. Why? Bring up Dalton Pompey. If he can't hit, then he can't fucking hit, but let's find out. Let him play. Let's ditch this season. Let's build around the youth of the pitching staff, obviously, particularly Aaron Sanchez and Marcus Stroman, Roberto Osuna. Let's keep those guys. Let's keep Josh Donaldson, and let's keep Kevin Pillar. And everybody else is available. And Atkins aggressively retransitions the offense. We don't need to destroy the whole team, but we need to rebuild. We need to reposition the offense. Bring some speed. Bring some something else. I did love seeing yesterday's game. Was it yesterday's game? Today's game. The hit and run attempt. Was it the fucking hit and run attempt? I don't know. I retweeted to somebody. Anyway, the Blue Jays were trying to be aggressive. And, hit into the double play. But that's fine. Be aggressive. Run the bases. Hit and run. Move runners. Okay, this is not a masher ball club. Let's use some of the aspects we have. If Carrera can bunt, let's let him bunt. Why is he not using that? Because he's mostly useless otherwise. I don't know where I'm going with this ramble. It's just like it's all fucking coming out. It's all coming out now. Oh, fuck me. Anyway. What else did I want to talk? Oh, yeah. So, I don't know. You just heard me fucking ramble. I don't know what my point was, but the point is, I don't want to be lumped in with the complainers who just ditch their nerves fucking freak on them after a 1-5, 2-10 start. My nerves aren't freaking on me. I'm not ditching on the Blue Jays because they're off to a 2-10 start, and now I think we need to blow everything up. I thought we need to blow everything up earlier, before the season, before spring training. That was always my opinion. So that was one of my points. I didn't want to be looped in with the complainers because I know I do complain. I just wish it had been done differently. We can retransition this team. You lose a year for 2018. We can retransition for 2018. We lose a year with J.A. Happ and Francisco Liriano and Marco Estrada, and maybe even lose one of those guys because of age. But the pitching staff is good, to get through this year for 2018. I wanted to focus on 2018. I wanted to rebuild that offense, get some speed in there, some guys who can do other things than just hit home runs. Nothing changed about this offense. It degraded a little bit, but nothing changed. We didn't deal with any of our weaknesses. I don't know what weaknesses we dealt with. Left-handed power, we needed it, we didn't have it. We didn't get it. Speed. I mean, I know Dalton Pompey's been dealing with injuries, but if he's healthy, he should be on this roster. We need to know what he is. And I'm assuming because he's 24 and still in AAA, that's what they feel he is. Mostly a borderline major league ball player. But let's find out. What else did I want to talk about? Wanted to talk about Alfred and Tellez and Pompey. Yeah, so bring those three guys up. Excuse me. Bring those three guys up. At some point in the season, you don't have to do it right now, but, with injuries, why can't we see Rowdy Tellez? Why can he not make an appearance on this roster within the first 30 games? I don't understand why that couldn't happen. He's not at the point where you're going to deteriorate his confidence. You might have to send him back down, but you're not going to ruin him. He's not a young 20-year-old. And Alfred hitting .464. I love his tenacity. I love his. He feels like he's got a really great mental game. The things he's just battled through, and watching him rise through the minor leagues and his up and down seasons and how he turns it around, and this house fire that they had, did that change him in any way? I mean, he's off to a great start. Boys, I'd love to see him come up. I can't wait for him. I think he is going to be a very good ball player, Anthony Alford. That is, and it's what I love. It's that speed leadoff guy, a pure speed leadoff guy, on base running guy. Oh fuck! I would love the Blue Jays to have that again. Even Shannon Stewart. I loved Shannon Stewart. 50 steal guy, 300 average, 380 on base percentage, all day long. That is such a weapon, and it's not used in the major leagues like it used to be. There's not worse athletes in the major leagues today. Why is that not? It must be a mindset within baseball to not use speed or moving the ball. I don't know if that's from statistical analysis and advanced statistics and all that stuff, but it's not. Sorry for all the breathing. Yeah. Anyway, I lost my train of thought. One last thing I'd like to say is the Toronto fans, you guys are an unusual creature. I'm from Nova Scotia. I lived in Toronto for a year. That was the last year of Maple Leaf Gardens. That was fun. I was young, 24 maybe. Lived in downtown Toronto. I've been there and back a few times for 3-4 weeks at a time. I loved it there. I love this. I love the city. I love the energy of the city. I love the skyscrapers. And I saw the passion of the fans. I've always been a Habs fan. My brothers and my father have been Leaf fans. I always loved the Leafs because I'm a guy that, like, Toronto, anything Canada, that's what I want to win. So if you're baseball, you have Toronto and the Expos, you're it. If you're in basketball, Vancouver and the Raptors, I was there from day one for both teams. And they're my teams. Like, I don't need to know the players. There's my teams. That's my loyalty. So you guys are the best fans, man. And LeBron James gave a shout out to Raptors fans last year. That was awesome. I've replayed that just a couple days ago for my son. You guys are great fans. You're great fans in the way that you react to your teams, the passion you have. You come out for all your teams. I don't know about Toronto FC. I don't follow that. I don't follow the Argonauts or the CFL. But hockey, baseball, Toronto, Raptors, basketball, you're there. Conversely, you're the biggest bunch of pricky, like on Twitter, you're pricky fucking, like, you're weirdos. I don't know how better to explain it. And I don't mean to be offensive, because I just gave you a nice compliment. So there's the yin and the yang, and on Twitter there's a mindless group that is very large that just thinks, yeah, they're my team, so they're gonna win. Like, I find the mindset of a lot of Raptor fans, in particular on Twitter, which is where I do most of my baseball stuff, to be just annoying. I don't know the best way to put it. This was not a good description, but weird, pricky, dumb, shitty to talk to. Like, okay, Mike Wilner. I like Mike Wilner. I tweet at him a lot. I think he's a very good commentator, very good baseball commentator. But I think he can be a dummy on Twitter, in the sense that he's such a homer. Like, and I don't know if that's because of his representation of Sportsnet, and he feels he's more drawn to just saying more nice things, but it's he says some dumb shit. He says a lot of just very homery, off to 2-10, but just wait, we're going to play 8:33 ball, as we always do, a few times a year. Why can't you be realistic? And this is my description of the Toronto Blue Jay fans. How can people not look at this team and see it is not the 2016 version, which was not good enough to get to the World Series? It was not the 2015 version, which was even better than the 2016 version, though the bullpen was weak and couldn't get to the World Series. This team is worse than those two. So, why can't you see that? Like, why would you just say, this is going to turn around, this is a playoff team? Why can't you see that it's probably not a playoff team, and now that they're 2-10, almost certainly not a playoff team? The season is almost over, literally. If they lose like 2 more games, I haven't done the stats, but I did them a couple days ago for this idea. If they lose like 2 more games, they got to play like 600 ball for the rest of the season, which is almost a full season, but they're not anywhere close to a 600 ball club, from my estimation. But as I said, I just do this and I know nothing and I have no contacts and I just sit and watch TV and then I spout my opinion. So don't take anything that I say seriously. And I thank you for joining me. And we will talk again. Blue Jays are back on Tuesday against the first place Cincinnati Reds. And my Canadian boy and yours, Joey Votto. All right, thank you for joining me. Listen, you can follow me on Twitter at Blue Jays Feeder. And subscribe to this channel or give it a thumbs up or a comment or something just to let me know that you're listening. All right. Thank you for joining me. See you later.